Hello, everyone. We need to talk about the red flags with Charlie Kirk's nonprofit Turning Point USA. This is the nonprofit that he was speaking for when he was shot. There is a lot going on with this organization. This is definitely a wild situation. So let's first of all talk about the origin story for this organization that appears to be fabricated. There's pretty much no way, in my opinion, that this is a real fairy tale organization origin story. The origin of this organization dates back to 2012. Charlie Kirk was still in high school, gave a speech at a youth government day, and Tea Party activist, he calls himself, Bill Montgomery, was trying to persuade Charlie Kirk to postpone college and go full-time into political activism. A day after Charlie graduated from high school, these two launched Turning Point USA, which was a 501c3 supposedly mentor. This is all according to Wikipedia and those sources I looked into and worked behind the scenes, handling paperwork and things like that. And then shortly after, at the 2012 Republican National Convention, Charlie Kirk met Foster Freeze, a Republican donor. This person made a 5-figure donation to the organization. And then Freeze also sat on the organization's advisory council along with Ginny Thomas, who's the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. That's not plausible to me that is the real organization origin story. What it seems like may have happened here was that Bill Montgomery was the real founder, and he wanted the organization to have kind of a youthful face and seem like this grassroots organization and make it seem organic when it wasn't, it appears. Charlie Kirk was probably groomed to go into this position, and this organization was pretty quickly seeded with mega donors like Foster Freeze, as well as connected to networks like Ginny Thomas's. And again, it seems like they wanted to create this illusion of a grassroots student movement, when in reality, it seems to be a top-down project of wealthy conservatives who wanted to build kind of a youth mobilization machine to feed these people into think tanks, campaigns, policy jobs, as well as build support for donor interests like deregulation, free markets, fossil fuels, and things like that. So that's kind of the origin story in a nutshell. First, let's talk about the tax filings, because I think there's a lot of information to be gleaned from those, and I'm not sure that all of these matters have been explored in the media yet. So for the tax filing, this group grew from about $78,000 in revenue the first year, to $85 million in 2023. That's a massive jump for a grassroots student-run organization, which also points to the idea that this was probably not truly that, and it was probably conceived of by these established wealthy conservatives. The group also shifted tens of millions into these affiliate groups, which can make the money harder to track. And it does appear that Turning Point Endowment, one of these, was used to kind of park the money. The group was also receiving foreign grants and engaged in foreign activity, which is very strange for a U.S. student-focused nonprofit. Raises questions about overseas political ties and laundering. Can you think of a certain country that might have been interested in this situation? There definitely seems to be political organizing going on here. The 2019 field program reached 67,000 students in one semester. May cross the line into campaign intervention, which is illegal for a 501c3. The fundraising fees are also very strange. Went from $0 in 2015 to 2016 to $237K in 2018, $2.6 million in 2022. Fundraising might be run through undisclosed vendors, or there could be inconsistent disclosure. The volunteer numbers are bizarre. It went from 65 volunteers in 2016 to 167,000 in 2022 to 9,000 in 2023. So this might be poor reporting, or they could have inflated numbers to inflate legitimacy. There was also a lot of volatility in the staff. 156 employees in 2015 to 709 in 2021, and then 458 in 2023, the operations could be in. The use of professional fundraising fees might suggest potential self-dealing. The liabilities also rose from $28,000 in 2015 to over $1 million in 2018. Can be a red flag for reliance on debt and obligations despite this massive fundraising. There is also a tiny board, which makes conflicts of interest and self-dealing more likely. Only 1 out of 3 board members were supposedly independent in 2017. There have also been tax experts who apparently flagged some events as potentially violating the 501c3 status because they were overly politically toned. I will do a part 2 because I'm